I would start off with saying, if you ever need to talk about it, I'm here. They may brush you off and say, I don't know what you're talking about, or you just gave them that glimmer of hope that there's someone that they can talk to.
Hay que vivir sin excusas.
Algunas veces tienes dudas que tus sueños no se puedan cumplir. No encuentras la manera ni el camino que puedas seguir. No te demores.
I absolutely love that song. Every time I hear it, I get emotional. Good evening and welcome to Conversations with Ajusta Tu Corona. I am your co-host. No, I'm actually your host, Lilian Maldonado. And today we have an amazing guest that I absolutely love. Ajusta Tu Corona is here to assist victims of domestic violence. We will walk through the trauma of healing and help you on your way to a brighter tomorrow. As you've transformed from victim to victor, you have a story to tell, and it's all about to be told. Because you were created for love, dignity, and purpose. You are an agent of change who was made for greatness. So if ever you wondered what Ajusta Tu Corona is about, that is what it is about. I'm going to bring our guest on. As I stated before, I absolutely love her. She is an amazing transformational life coach. And I know that she's amazing because she was my transformational life coach, allowing me to wear my CEO hat, allowing me to relaunch Ajusta Tu Corona bigger and stronger. We have a wider network. We have so many events to look forward to. And let me just bring her on and stop talking. Hello, Neena.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. By the way, I love your intro. That
Thank
intro
you.
video is awesome.
That was from the game team.
Oh, I love it. It's awesome. I was like, oh my God, it's so fun.
I'm
That's
just
so
going to
fun.
readjust our screen a little bit because I prefer to have us up and center. And here we are.
All right.
Our topic this evening is about relaxing, refocusing, recharging. And I don't get tired of talking about it because as women, we are on the go. We are always taking care of someone else, and we never really take the time to take care of us. So, as I recently stated on a previous podcast, I had my gallbladder removed, and I have to tell you, I am high tolerance and pain. Usually whenever I've had any type of procedure done, the next day I'm right back on it. But this time it totally knocked me out. Like I couldn't think straight. My head was in a fog. I physically did not feel good, probably for close to like a month and a half. Not that there was anything wrong with it. It just knocked me on my butt.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel that that was a way of God telling me, sit down, take the rest that you need, recharge, refocus, and then get back to what you need to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I have to tell you, this is what I was thinking, and this is what I feel right now. I feel so much energetic. I'm so happy to be back on the podcast. I am like so busy, like thinking of ideas and launching programs for Ajusta Tu Corona.
Awesome.
And here we are. But Neena is my guest tonight, not only because I love her, because she got the same message. If you could see, she's wearing a harness around her neck.
Yes. You know what, Lillian? I remember us having a conversation right after you weren't feeling well and you had the surgery because you were feeling out of it. And I remember telling you that you have to give yourself some grace. You have to understand that this too shall pass. And it's, it's kind of like timely, right? That we're going to be talking about refocusing and recharging and all of that, because I think, I know as women who are entrepreneurs and go-getters and leaders and stuff, we don't always focus on our mental health and our recharging and reconnecting. So it's important, right? And I thought when you just went through what you just went through, I'm going through right now what I'm going through. And I was struggling too last week, and I had to put myself in my own shoes and be like, okay, Neen, you do this with women all the time. You need to do this with yourself too. And one of those things is just giving yourself that grace, that you're only in a race with yourself, Lily. And a lot of mistakes that we make is we think we have to hurry up. Like, we got to get this done today. And so since we don't get it done today, then we're not good enough, and we're not going fast enough, and we're not going to be successful enough. All of that starts to happen, and it starts to drain us. So I'm really grateful that you had me to come on here today to talk to you. It's awesome.
Let me tell you one of the reasons that I feel that I rush, 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 rush. And I mean, people are welcome to comment. Everyone, has an opinion, but sometimes this is in my mind. I feel that I started my entrepreneur um, story late.
Right.
Like, I feel that I started to tell my story late, like not late in time, but late in age.
Mm.
So I feel like if I want to accomplish the dreams that I have to move a little quicker. So that stays in my mind a lot when I think about that. And I'm like, oh, I have this, really, I'm really passionate about helping victims of domestic violence. And I really have to get on my A game so that I can accomplish, this shelter that I want, that is my biggest dream of all.
Right.
So, and I feel because I started late in life, sometimes I feel that I have to go, go, go. But I do realize the older that I get, not that I think I'm very old. I like to think my mind is still very young, but your body tells you otherwise. Um, is that you have to rest. You have to take more rest. You're not that spring chicken. You can't move as quickly on your feet. You get tired a lot more quickly, so you can't be out as much at networking events. And those are things that go through my mind. I try, but sometimes the body just tells you, no, you can't. And you
And
have
you
to learn to listen to your body.
100%. And you also have to ask yourself, when you say you started late compared to what? Because there are people who are starting in their 70s and 80s. So late compared to who?
Yeah.
Right. And the truth is you were not prepared 10 years ago. You're prepared now.
Correct.
So there isn't I used to say the same thing to myself. I don't have a house, and my friends have a house, and I don't have a this, and then friends. And I realized that, comparison, as you know, is the thief of all joy. But the truth is you would have probably not had the same type of impact that you're having now that you're sitting in your own skin, more confident, older, and you know that you got this, right?
Correct.
10 years ago, you may not have been there. So you're exactly where you need to be, and you're only running the race against yourself. So when you say I started too late, you always have to ask yourself, compared to what and who? Right? Because if I ask one of my clients who is, I think she just turned 65, she would say she's starting late. So are you starting late, or is she starting late? You see what I mean? Compared to what? It's all relative, you know?
Yeah.
But you're right. I think, I think I was reading something in psychology today that said something about, rest is vital for your mental health. It increases concentration. It increases memory. It increases your immune system. All of that comes from rest, just resting. Right. That's why they're always talking about, especially women who are a little older. I'm 50. So when you're a little older, sleep is also vital. It's vital to your immune system. It's vital to reduce your stress, to improve your mood. How many times have you maybe lost a night of sleep and then you're grumpy the next day? It's because your body hasn't rested.
Correct.
Right. But we do that to ourselves, even with work. Right. So we'll work, work and sleep, 4 or 5 hours a day and wonder why we are maybe not in the best of moods, or not concentrating well, or can't focus on our business,
Correct.
because we're doing 20 things instead of the one thing we really want to do. Right. Rest is vital.
Now, when we say refocus or recharging, what is one of the examples that you can give? We've talked about rest, sleeping, relaxing, taking time for yourself. What do you do to recharge?
Well, a big thing that is a huge part of my life is prayer. Prayer and meditation is really big for me. So I like to pray and meditate to recharge because I every morning I get up about 10 minutes or so of complete just no distractions, and I start doing what we call positive intelligence reps or PQ reps, and it's basically feeling our senses, our breathing, kind of like just sitting with yourself, not thinking about the next thing you got to do, the next appointment you have, none of that. So I recharge by taking care of me. And I think self care is a big piece of this, right? So taking care of yourself, practicing deep breath techniques, things like that. Because if you don't do that, there is no recharging. You have to recharge, and I'm talking about practical things, right? Things you have to do for yourself practically to feel like you've recharged. Other things you can do that are external from yourself is doing something that you love to do, being around people you love to be around, going to connect with nature, maybe take a nice walk, maybe pick up a hobby or color, things like that can also recharge you. So there's different ways, right? There's no one strategic, magical way. There's a lot of different ways, and people do it different ways.
Mhm.
Some people that I have spoken to like to swim. That's their recharging. So they'll go to the gym, they'll go to the pool, and they'll swim. That's how they recharge. So everybody's different. The point is though, is that you have to do it. And a lot of really self-led high achievers really focus on the next goal instead of focusing on the pause in between the goals.
I think that's one of the things that I learned after my surgery. So now it's like I just plan something, take one step at a time, um, relax for a day, then I'll go back to it and work a little bit more on it. But that was something that I never did before. I've always been on the go, 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 go on
Mm-hmm,
multiple
mm-hmm,
businesses. And I've learned a lot to slow down.
mm-hmm. That's good.
Is that
Slowing down, yeah, slowing down is going to help you connect with you. And a lot of times, I mean, I'm 50 now, right? So but it was like in my 30s or so that I started to actually realize that Nina needed some attention. You know what I mean? It was first, it was taking care of the kids because I was a young mother. So I was taking care of the kids, making sure I go to work, making sure even if I was sick, I would go to work and never had time for myself. And it wasn't until I started to think about what I needed, with all of my autoimmune conditions and things like that, that popped up because of stress, because of pushing yourself to the brink, when you're working, 12 to 15-hour shifts, at some point, your body will tell you, like your
Mhm.
body told you, like my body told me, your body will tell you, well, girl, you didn't want to listen to me when you had it all too good. I told you to pause, so I'm going to make you pause now. And I agree with you. Sometimes I feel like it's God's way of getting our attention, and saying he blessed us with these gifts, and we should be taking them and appreciating them, and also appreciating the life he's given us, right?
Mhm.
So practice mindfulness, just be at peace. I think one of the biggest things, Lillian, to start your day off is just, I always talk about this, but it's really having this attitude that is full of gratitude for your day. Start there. And I don't care if you could take 1 minute. If you could take 1 minute in the morning just to pause, open your eyes and sit there, pause for a second. 1 minute. Maybe next time you'll do 5. Maybe after that you can do 15. You know what I'm saying? But I always tell people, don't try to make yourself like the guru of meditation. Do it in small increments. I always say do 60 seconds. If you could do 60 seconds, you're better than you were yesterday when you didn't do it at all, you
Yeah.
know so I always tell people to pause and just give themselves, that's usually my first thing, is just start and end your day quietly. Start and end your day quietly, you know
That's, I feel that not if you listen, you are led.
hmm
So in my mind and in my heart, I believe that I was just so overwhelmed in Connecticut in my little cramped apartment that I ended up purchasing my home unseen. I had a
Mm-hmm.
friend that lived in the area that actually came through with her really bad camera and walked me through the house. But in my house, there is a giant picture window in the living room that faces the woods in the back.
Oh, nice.
And that is my place to sit and have my cup of tea
Good.
and just like meditate, listening to the birds chirping. And it's beautiful. And I was not looking for that.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
the fact that I was led to where I needed to be to relax, to rest and recharge was all God's doing because that's
That's
not
so
what I
good.
was looking for.
That's so good though. And then to lead you to the place that you're happy at now. This is your happy place.
Yes.
And I think that but that talks a lot about letting go of control.
Mhm.
Right? That talks a lot about having a faith that you are leaning on and saying, you know what, I'm going to lean on because no matter if I go there sight unseen, one way or another, God will work it out. And it might be a little bit of a headache at first. Sometimes it is, and that's okay too, because I feel like in all of the headaches or what we call bad times or whatever, there's always lessons to extract. And
Mhm.
if you can extract the lessons, then you already are ahead. Right? It doesn't all have to be rose and petals, as we all know. It's not, right? Life isn't like that. But you can learn a lesson from every experience. So you have to try to control the things you can or in your control and let go of the things you cannot control. And most high achievers are trying to control what they can and what they can't control. And then they're getting frustrated and stressed out because they couldn't control it because it wasn't in your control. So we definitely have to really relax, refocus, eliminate distractions, reduce that multitasking crap, because we all think we have to do 20 things at once and you do not. You do not. It doesn't work anyway. We all try, but it doesn't work.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
I'm
We all have
still
three
trying to let
projects.
go of that control of the airplane.
And the funny thing
I
is you're
haven't
not
worked
in
that one out
control.
yet.
What's hilarious is you're not in control, like at all. You know what I'm
I
saying? Like,
know, but like the fear that grips me as I'm like, holding on to the seat.
oh my God, I love flying so much. Like, I fall asleep on my flights. I love it.
Oh, you sound like my dear friend Margarita. Before she's out before the airplane takes off.
Oh, I love it. I love it. It's so funny. You got to get a good book with you and try to practice some more mindfulness, right? Or a good stiff
Ab-
drink.
Absolutely. I truly believe I need to practice a lot more mindfulness. I've been
Hmm.
reading about it. I've um and I think it's something I definitely want to offer my clients
Hmm.
um m- because it's transformational, and I think it'll be amazing, and everyone at one time or another should sample it, should try it because it is amazing. Let's what what did we refocus, Nina?
What do you mean? What did we refocus? What do you mean?
Rest, relax, recharge, refocus.
Oh, refocus. Okay. Well,
Okay.
for me to refocus, what is that what you're asking? How do I refocus?
No, I want you to
Oh,
talk about what's new in your life.
oh, oh, okay. I have a lot of great things going on in my life. And one of them is redid my methodology on how I work with women. So I was working with women on helping them strategize on like business ideas and things that they wanted to do, but also kind of encourage them to show them the beauty of who they really are. And I realized that I have been spiritual coaching for over 20 plus years. I got certified like 20 years ago. And I was always doing that. And then I um, kind of went away from that and got into my neuro-linguistic programming because I'm a master practitioner. And then I also got my, certification in life coaching, positive intelligence coaching, and emotional intelligence coaching. And I realized that I need to be putting all of these things together. right? So I started to implement them and actually do a whole methodology towards around it, which talks about working on your inner self. And so we talk about like toxic shame, connecting with your inner child and your inner adult, like really to really digging deep as to why we have these behaviors that we don't want, these self-sabotaging things that we do, where we get to a certain point and then we throw ourselves back. We get to a certain point and then we put ourselves back. Or we don't really, we know we want success, but we almost can't self-actualize it because we keep having a wall there. So I'm not trying to, I'm encouraging women to break through all of that. So I am now helping women to transcend like the deep part of them. And a lot of that is shame. And so I'm empowering self led, heart centered women to transcend that shame and unwanted behaviors because I want them to gain confidence, to be confident and to self actualize their true potential so that they can create that life and the business that they want. Because one of the things I realized in my life is that I didn't get here just by strategizing business. I got here by doing some seriously deep work. And the way that I got here is through steps, step by step in my life. So I want to help women do that so that they don't have to keep going back. Like you have this business strategy and plan and all that together, but then there's still something that's blocking you and you don't know what that is. I want to address all of that. So we're going to do some inner work. We're going to do some transcending work, which will help you deal with the way you talk to yourself, inner dialogues, the way you look at life, what is blocking you, things like that. Forgiveness is a big component of this. And then the other part of this wheel, like you talked about, is the co-creation. And co-creation is your lean life and business plan. And we talk about your strategy. We do your whole networking for you. Like say that you say to me, hey, Neen, we're going to work on all of this and I want to do a coaching business. Okay, so let's deal with all your inner issues and all that first. Let's get all that out the way. Let's get you healed and completely whole. And then we're going to also, alongside that, work with what it is you want to do. So we have your curriculum, we do your roadmap, we build out your marketing, we do all of that, help you with your video for your launch and your pre-sale video and all of that. My team comes on and helps you with everything. So that's what I'm working on. That's my refocus because I want to impact women, Lillian. I want to impact them for good, not for you to have to pay 20 different coaches.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But to pay one program, one thing, get it going, let's move on, you know? And one thing that, as working with me is I don't leave people either. I'm not those type of people that, oh, you're with me 6 weeks, bye, and you'll never hear from me again. I'm not that person. And I've had coaches do that to me. I've paid thousands of dollars and I've had them do that to me. I won't do that. I won't do that. I can't do that. And for me, women need to be supporting each other. And we need to be holding each other accountable, but also holding each other's hands, right? So that when you're off track, I could say, hey, Lillian, is that really what you wanted to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, is that really what you want to do? Or have you thought about it? Because a lot of times what happens as entrepreneurs is every shiny thing looks amazing. But what happens is that you get distracted. So what your goal is now got distracted with something else, and that's not your goal. That happens to me. You know what I'm saying? So I know it happens because it happens to me. So I want to make sure that I'm there alongside women. That's how I'm refocusing. I'm refocusing on helping women have lasting impact, not just one little tool here and there, and that's it. That's what I'm doing.
I want to read some comments from our guests. So
Yeah.
we have Thrive Health Life Coaching on, and she says, remember that if we are not ready, it is not going to show up. Timing is everything.
Mm-hmm.
And we have Margarita who stated, we tend to allow the past to annihilate our present and plans for the future.
Ain't that the truth?
Mm-hmm.
Ain't that the truth? That is so true. And that's sad and it's true. But there's help. There's hope. You don't have to be there. I've done it. I've self-sabotaged myself with so many things because I didn't deal with the work. I didn't do the deep work. I didn't want to do the deep work. I thought it would hurt too much. I'm trying not to have women go back to the trauma. I'm having them go back to the experience and the feeling so that they can learn how to move that around in their head in a different way so it doesn't stop them. We don't need to sit there and go back to the boo-hooing when you were 2 years old and got damaged. You know what I'm saying? I want you to love yourself at the 2-year-old when somebody stole that from you. You know, that's where I'm coming at it from. I don't want to go into re-traumatizing anybody. I want people to self-actualize and move forward. That's my goal. You
Release
know,
it.
release it. Exactly.
I went to a boot camp one time that made us go back and talk about the things that hurt us or the things that we were holding on to and to release it.
Mhm.
And once we released it, like we left there like being able with a sigh
Mhm.
and just releasing it and being able to move on in life and being able to move on for those from those things that we were just carrying
Exactly.
around on our shoulders and in our heart.
Mhm.
So a lot of it has to do with women of domestic violence too. We don't want them
Mhm.
to relive their experience that they had with the abuser, but we do want them to go back and, like you said, tweak and forget, not forget, but be able to move on from that pain.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Absolutely. So, because my show is about domestic violence and this is a conversation about relax, refocus, recharge, why is Nina on here? I myself was a victim of domestic violence at the age of 14. Why? Because at that age, I became pregnant and my dad kicked me out of the house. So I had no choice but to go move in with the father.
Mhm.
And Nina is on our show because she has a biography that she wrote where she talks about.
Yeah. Domestic violence, same thing though. I was pregnant at 14. Um, I had my son at 15 years old. My parents just mistreated me. They didn't kick me out of the house, but they definitely mistreated me, didn't really speak to me. They were just not supportive at all. And I lived in a shelter when I was about 17 because my son's father tried to kill me. So the domestic violence lasted for about 5 years. It was horrific. And it was, I didn't know what relax and refocus and recharging was. I was surviving. It was a survival game, you know and that happens when you serve when you are somebody who has gone through or is going through domestic violence. There is a way out, first of all, and secondly, you are so freaking worth it. And when you are surviving through that, I mean, I'm a long way out of it, thank God, but surviving was the key. I had to survive. It wasn't about myself or refocusing, it was just surviving. But then you realize that you are a survivor. And that's what I talk about when I say every experience gives you a gift. Every experience gives you a gift, even the horrific ones, if you look for it, right? So for me, it showed me that I'm kick ass. I don't play games. And I also am here to help women do the same,
Mhm.
right? So I think domestic violence is. I am so proud of you for getting into that field and always like focusing on the women. Every time we've talked, it was always your heart is always about the women. And I am a huge supporter of you, as you know, and I cannot wait to see your shelter come to pass. That's going to make me so excited. I cannot wait to. I can't wait. I can't wait to see it.
Thank
I
you.
know it's coming. I know it is.
I'm working hard.
Yeah.
Margarita, cultivating self to tell their story about the courage and strength that was discovered while in the darkness. We need to encourage memories that has brought us to today. The survival story of our I am.
Exactly right. And we do need to encourage the memories that have brought us to today because, like I said, we don't have to go back to like exactly how he beat you, like,
Mhm.
or she, because, it could be a same sex partner or men also who have been
Correct.
abused. If they are, we don't need to know exactly what they did to hurt you, but the pain that came with that betrayal is what you need to deal with, right? The pain that came with that, I love this person so much and look what they did to me. That's the piece that we have to deal with because your brain automatically will try to protect you, right? So as soon as you start to feel any kind of triggers or discomfort, you want to, oh no, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. No, you're not good. And that's okay.
Mhm.
And so we need to deal with those triggers and those moments in your life because you're freaking worth it. And like Margarita said, we need to encourage those memories because they give you the strength that you need as you move forward, for sure.
Absolutely. The Miracle Safe Haven, a great gift we are looking forward to, she writes.
Me
Yes,
too. Me
we
too.
are. It's a lot of people. It's not,
Yeah.
you know, like they say, it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a whole state to try to get this shelter going.
Literally, right? Literally. I know.
Literally.
Literally. That's so
So,
true. And let me tell you
mhm,
though, what you're doing, as you probably know, is really impactful work. I went to a women's shelter. I did a domestic violence shelter and when I, lived in Stanford, and it changed my life because I was there for a year. I was there for a year because they had a year program where you can go and get therapy and they would help you with your kid. And I was still in high school. It was my last year of high school. But it was the most transforming thing in my life because it encouraged me and it taught me and it gave me lessons. And I, at the end of that program, I was there a year. I also ended up being like an encourager or a little counselor for the women coming in that were new, and that's what it's about. Your experiences, your story is not about you. Your story is not for you anymore. Your story is for someone else. That's what we're supposed to be doing with our lives and our stories. I believe we're
mhm.
supposed to take our stories and impact somebody else's life.
Our purpose. Everyone has a
Yep.
purpose and they think that they don't.
Right.
Especially if you're a victim, you think that, you just wallow in your victimhood and you don't realize that you have a purpose and we all have to move on
Mm-hmm.
and you wonder like, why am I here? Why am I
Mm-hmm.
here on earth? What's
Mm-hmm.
my purpose? And you
Mm-hmm.
do have one. Sometimes you need a little bit of guidance. Sometimes you need to pray a lot, but
Absolutely.
we do all have a purpose.
hmm We all do, though, right? We all need the guidance. We all need the prayer. We all need the support, right? And that's why it's important that you find a group of people that you trust, that you can be honest and vulnerable with, a tribe of some sort, somewhere that you can go and speak your truth and speak the truth and not feel condemned about it. Because one of the things that happens when you are a person of domestic violence is you can't speak the truth. It'll get knocked out of you. You know what I mean? So it was one of the things I remember the most because I was so strong headed that anytime I said anything, I was getting punched in the face. You know what I mean? So you start to learn to be quiet. You start to learn to maybe not say something a certain way because this person is going to abuse you. Right.
Hmm.
So
Hide things.
when you first start to speak, it's a little bit hard. It's a little bit scary, but you need to find that network of people and that group of people where you can be safe. And I think that's what you're looking to do anyway, because you're, coaching women from domestic violence, and you're also
Absolutely.
going to be opening up the shelter, and that's going to give women a safe space.
Hmm.
I'm sorry, but just do it. If you can do it just one at a time, you are making an impact because it's not just them, but everybody around them. Look at me and you. It's not just about me and you. How many people are we impacting all the time?
Hmm.
Right? So that's what it's about. I'm super excited about what you're doing. I cannot wait. Super proud.
Thank you. Maritza writes, I believe that our pain in turn becomes wisdom if we choose to walk through our pain.
Mm-hmm.
And Margarita writes, the cure for the pain is in the pain. Rumi.
Yeah. Facts. Facts. At first, I thought she said rum. I said, rum will do it too. Rum will take care. Oh my gosh.
that
But
that
yeah,
that
but
that relieves a lot of people's pain as well. A
yeah.
nice glass of wine.
But the cure for the pain is in the pain. Isn't that true though? Isn't
Hmm.
that true? I mean,
Absolutely.
just using our surgery as examples, right? The reason that we are in pain is because we're healing. You're in pain because you're healing. So, just that alone will tell you that sometimes you got to go through that pain in order to come out better on the other side, in order to heal. You're not going through this for no reason. You're going through it for a reason, and it will be an impactful reason. You hang in there, know that you're worth it. Know that this too shall pass, because if you think of other things in your life, those things have passed. This will also pass. I when I start to think about, any like thing that's happening in my life that feels like it's a big deal, I always remember that because I remember, hey, you were molested, you were beaten, you were raped, you were thrown out the house, you were mistreated. Those things passed and good things came. Right. So even with this, whatever the situation in your life is right now, that too will pass and good things will come. And that's the experience of life.
Absolutely. And when you think you're settled and you have an empty nest, then you start to worry about the grandkids and then
Right. Right.
where are the empty, where are the kids that left the nest?
So
So
true.
it's a never
So
ending
true.
story, but
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
believe that, we were made strong for a reason.
Oh, 100%.
Like it's like they say, don't pray for an easy life, pray to be a strong person.
Mhm. 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 Well, I mean, as soon as you pray for an easy life, God is going to give you a bunch of stuff to go through because you so that it can be easier later. Because the truth is you're stronger for it.
Yes.
Every incident in your life, every heartache in your life, every time that life came to beat you down or whatever, that made you stronger, and that does make your life easier because as the next thing comes, you're like, oh, been there, done that. I'm stronger for it. So in that way it does.
Can you see her message? Truth. Avoidance leads you down the wrong path. Like the saying, the grass always looks greener on the other side until you get to the other side.
Yeah, because when
True.
you get to the other side, you got to water it.
Hmm.
You got to water it. You got to water it and fertilize it. Well, you should do that in the side that you're on. You know what I'm saying? So if you're in a side of the grass isn't green, start fertilizing it, start watering it, start pruning it, start cutting it and mowing it, and it will be green, right? Instead of looking at somebody else who's been taking care of their yard where it's greener,
Hmm.
and when you get there, if you don't do anything, guess what's going to happen? Your yard is going to go brown again. It's since we're going to go with that analogy, let's make it
That's a
happen.
good one.
Yeah, you have to put in the work for your life. You have to put in the work for yourself and understand that yes, the grass may look greener when you're looking over there, but I promise you it's because that person has probably already gone through some stuff where they have started taking care of their yard. That's what that's about, you know? So funny.
Love that analogy, she says. That is a good one. I never heard that one. Oh
It's
my
so good.
goodness.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much for being on the show, Nina. It
I'm
was an
glad you had
amazing
me.
conversation.
I'm glad you had
Oh,
me here.
oh, always. You're always welcome. Come back as much as you want. You want to come back every week?
Yeah, sure. We could do this. Why not? Why not? But I just want to tell women or anybody who's listening to recharge, refocus, and to rest. But also, just when you are in those moments of trying to rest and recharge and refocus, put out a little pen and pad and start journaling because that's when you're going to really see your creativity come to life. When you are really resting and trying to just refocus. So center yourself, get focused, grab a pen and pad, and just start writing. And don't judge what you're writing either. Like, don't say, oh, that's not a good idea because don't do that. Just sit there and write what ideas you have, what comes to the mind, what is it that you want to do, and don't poo-poo it, if you will. Don't like crush it before you even write it on paper. Just write it down anyway, because I think that that will help you to record your progress. It'll help you to record how far you're going. It'll help you to gain confidence in how the way your mind works and how smart you really are. It helps you to reduce that stress and anxiety that you may be feeling right before bed. So that's just what I want to kind of leave with people. Like, just make sure that you really do take this seriously, because you resting, you refocusing, you recharging, only you can do. I can't do it for you. Lillian can't do it for you, but you can do it for you. And you have to do it for you. Otherwise, you're going to run yourself to the ground. It's not worth it. It's just not worth it.
Absolutely. Margarita says we must stop bullying ourselves.
Ain't that
And
the
that's
truth?
true. We see
Mm-hmm.
anybody bullying our children or bullying us, and right away, like we're ready to kill someone. But
Mm-hmm.
yet we won't even be gentle with ourselves.
Right. Well, we don't give ourselves, I think we mentioned this earlier, we won't give ourselves grace, right?
Oh,
Right. It's like I was telling Lillian before we got on the show, like, when she wasn't feeling well after her surgery and everything. And I was telling her, you need to give yourself grace. You need to give yourself time. You got to give yourself time to heal. And she just said that to me as well. And I said, isn't that interesting how we will make sure that we say that to our best girlfriends because we want to make sure they take care of themselves. But to Margarita's point, we bully ourselves. Why aren't you doing that? You're not doing, you're not going anywhere. You're not moving fast enough. You're started late, blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? We bully, and she's right. We bully ourselves, and we need to stop that, because the way you talk to a friend, you should never talk to yourself like that. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't talk to your friend abusive. Don't abuse yourself. I think we've had enough of that abuse in our lives. We don't need to continue the legacy. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening. As always, remember you are amazing, you are loved, you are exceptional. Ajusta tu corona and keep it moving. Good night.
Good night. So great.